such a small piece. What really needs to happen is we need to create a new domain of knowing, and we need to call this information directly to ourselves. No more middleman. No more middlemen. Okay? They can't be trusted. We have to do it ourselves. Now, how do we go about that? I don't have all those pieces. The idea was to share it and plant the seed inside of all of you to start thinking about, what does mentoring look like? What would it how would you imagine extraterrestrials coming down and saying, okay, folks, you have pollution. We can help you with that, but these are the steps you need to do. Here's the technology that already exists on your planet to do this. And here is how you need to use it responsibly. Again, self-responsibility. Food, the growing of food. Water. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the technology to have all the drinking water we want. Just build desalination plants. We have all the water we need. But they won't spend a dime on any of that. Because if you don't have water, they have control over you. Okay, we have so much technology. We have free energy on the earth. Okay, Tesla did it in 1902. We know it exists. Okay? A hydrogen engine in a car was built in 1955 and did 110 laps at the Indianapolis 500 racetrack. The plans were bought by Gulf Western Oil and never seen from again. That's 1955. Okay? There's just so much. There's so much. The law of consistency, which is what the Andromedans call their holographic civilization, is set up like this. Every child, whether they understand the knowledge or not, is given the latest and greatest technology or knowledge, information, data as it arrives. It starts at the youngest level. It doesn't start at the top and stay there, and then they decide, well, we'll wait till they're 25 to tell them about it. That is not the same soul. We need the children to evolve to advanced maturity a lot faster than they are. Yes, they're growing up pretty fast, but not to advanced maturity. Okay? Every single piece of information, every single tool that is available to everyone across the board. The children that graduate from high school or school in the Andromedan civilization are smarter than their parents. And no one has a problem with that because they inherit the society. They're the ones that continue to go out and expand the society and create the holographic pillars of their society. Okay? It is not. We are completely going backwards here. And if that isn't evident to everyone, I don't know what is. The law of consistency is that every truth is spoken. Everyone is forgiven. There is no monetary system. There is an absolute free healthcare system, but it has nothing to do with pharmaceuticals. It has to do with color, light, and sound, which is what we are, even in our physicality. Color, light, and sound. It has to do the advancement of the soul. We have a damaged DNA structure, so when we reincarnate, we do not always remember things. There are people who do great jobs doing past life regression, and people can pull some of those pieces, but to have cognizant memory when you come back into physicality is something we don't have presently. They have that because they don't have a damaged DNA structure. Can our DNA structures be repaired? According to them, absolutely yes. but we need to make some changes. We need to create the space for us to be free enough to explore those possibilities. We cannot do that with the power structure that's in existence today. So we need to create another domain of knowing. And that begins with yourself. The love that you withhold is the pain that you carry lifetime after lifetime. And it all begins with us, each one of us individually. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if we work, start thinking, start talking about a mentoring relationship, what that looks like, how would we want to put it together? How would even go so far as to say, okay, here's where we want to do this. Here's how we want to do it. Who do we want present? Do we televise it to the masses? Everything, every detail, they absolutely will meet us halfway. They are not going to come in here and save us or rescue us from ourselves. They're not going to do it. If any of you are familiar with the Andromeda information, one of the things that was first shared with me when I became an adult was that in our galaxy, tyranny showed up very unexpectedly. And them and other races that are part of the Andromedan Council have come back in time to this moment on our planet and the other star systems that are having problem with the pirates to this time period. This shift in consciousness here is what flips it either way. They're going to intervene, and they have been intervening in very, very subtle ways, because no one wants to live in tyranny, not now or in the future. No one does. So this is our moment. This is our moment as a humanity, as a race, to really decide, are we or are we not going to unite as one? Are we or are we not going to watch each other's back? Are we or are we not going to stop taking crap from bureaucracy? We have to make a decision, and that decision is upon you. And you're going to be forced very, very soon to make a decision. And I'm not just talking to you folks here in the audience. I know that this is being streamed, and I know that these DVDs and things have a life of their own. I know that better than anybody. Okay? The time is now, and all it does is it starts with you, just to make a decision. Okay? To do something, to be radical, to be a rebel again. Most of us guys in this audience, we know what that's like. Being a rebel, we grew up shooting guns, chewing toast into the shape of a pistol, okay? Rescuing the damsel, excited about the next adventure. We know about that. You know, that's part of who we are. We are not domesticated lapdogs. We're just not. And I'm not going to be. And I'm not talking about going out and causing crimes. I'm talking about defending yourself, your liberties, your rights, your family, and your community. Okay, because nobody else is going to do it for you. In fact, they're all working against us. And even they don't realize what they're doing. They really don't. Because so much information is compartmentalized. They don't realize the big picture. But many people are waking up very, very quickly, and I know I'm preaching to the choir in that. But it's amazing to see how many people are waking up and questioning everything. Okay? This is our moment. The next several years is our moment. And it really needs to begin now. 2012 is not the end of the world. Isn't going to happen. It's not our destiny. Okay? However, the Earth will be going through some transitions because we will be crossing the galactic plane. And the galactic plane has an intense magnetic gravitational field. There will be changes. It's inevitable. Mr. Green touched on some of that yesterday. Okay, and others have talked about this as well. Okay, it's going to happen. So you need to start thinking about, where do I really want to be? Okay, if it's here, fine. Make the best of it. But create your space of independence. Don't take it for granted any longer. We can't. The whole world is looking at us. The Asians, the Europeans, they can't believe how stupid we are. Gospel, they can't believe how stupid we are. They're like, what's wrong with the Americans? You know, I don't have an answer, do you? We watch TV. What I'd like to do, because I did have some extra time, is I would really love to entertain some questions. If that's all right. Easy ones.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. This is excellent. And I want to address the mentoring suggestion because I think it's actually fascinating. I think that this is coming directly from the Andromedans.
Yes, it is.
That you're getting that you've been in contact with. And mentoring is an interesting way of putting it, okay? If you mentor somebody, you do not rule them. You do not tell them what to do, okay? That's key. Mm-hmm. And nobody has even suggested this. I think it's fascinating. So what we have here is the notion that you can be in contact with beings that can help teach you. Now, this is going on. This is going on. I'm aware of it. Camelot is aware of it. By God, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that. There is mentoring going on, but you do have to ask for that to happen, and you have to be as fully conscious in the process and as responsible and have that ability. You cannot sit there and ask them to do for you. It's not what it's about. And so I would love it if you would talk about, because you obviously have been mentored. So who better to teach us what does that look like? How is the interaction with you? Just describe, and I know that you have maybe talked to some degree, but in your interactions, if you could discuss some of the ways they have mentored you to this point.
Okay. Know that my mentoring has gone on with times that I have literally been kicking and screaming. The biggest portion of the mentoring has really been, why do I believe things? And what is it that I believe? So a lot of times the question will come, I will ask a question or I will have a perspective, and they will immediately come back and say, well, why do you believe that? You know, what is your process of believing that that's true? And, for example, religions. It was one of the biggest things I had when I was a kid. And it was an issue that my father brought up to me as well when I told him about this. We have formed perceptions of reality that are not based in reality. They're only based on perception. Now, in accepting that perception as reality, what we do is we reinforce that illusion. And that's what we have done on Earth, is we have reinforced the illusion about who we are. About our strengths, about our power, about how we're supposed to live on the earth, about being stuck on the earth, about how we are supposed to raise our children. We have bought into these perceptions. The hardest things were to really look at myself. And this is really where the work is, and it's always with yourself. The most you have pollution. We can help you with that, but these are the steps you need to do. Here's the technology that already exists on your planet to do this. And here is how you need to use it responsibly. Again, self-responsibility. Food, the growing of food. Water. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the technology to have all the drinking water we want. Just build desalination plants. We have all the water we need. But they won't spend a dime on any of that. Because if you don't have water, such a small piece. What really needs to happen is we need to create a new domain of knowing, and we need to call this information directly to ourselves. No more middleman. No more middlemen. Okay? They can't be trusted. We have to do it ourselves. Now, how do we go about that? I don't have all those pieces. The idea was to share it and plant the seed inside of all of you to start thinking about, what does mentoring look like? What would it how would you imagine extraterrestrials coming down and saying, okay, folks, they have control over you. Okay, we have so much technology. We have free energy on the earth. Okay, Tesla did it in 1902. We know it exists. Okay? A hydrogen engine in a car was built in 1955 and did 110 laps at the Indianapolis 500 racetrack. The plans were bought by